Hi, welcome to the video. It's Kerry here again with just a video mainly concerned with one book today. That's Elizabeth Beer's Ancestral Night. Now, I finished this book 2 weeks ago today, I think, and I've had to write a written review to crystallize my thoughts on it first. So now I can just make a video. It's just going to be a few rough thoughts and descriptions of the book. So Ancestral Night is Elizabeth Beer's attempt at a widescreen space opera type book of the type that become quite popular in the early 21st century, and really from the 1990s on there's been a renaissance of the form, kind of revamping the tropes of they were around in the 60s and 70s for a modern audience. And Ancestral Night starts out quite similar to other space operas that you might read recently. We have a plucky crew of a salvage tug. The main character, actually the only viewpoint character in the book, is Hamey Ziz. Well, I'm not sure how to actually pronounce that surname. It's just spelled D-Z or D-Z for you if you're in the United States. And she is an engineer on the salvage tug, along with her hotshot pilot called Conla, and an AI system which kind of like embodies the ship called Singer. And they also have 2 cats which have become adapted to space. Now, Hamey herself has modifications for space work. She has, instead of feet, she has another pair of hands on her legs, and this is treated as matter of fact in the book, so I assume it's a common thing for people in the space business in the future there. And we're introduced to the crew basically, and they have got a hot tip on a salvage vessel to be salvaged. They come across a gravitational distortion, and within it they discover a ship. Now, before they discover the ship, they find evidence of recent violence against one of the spacefaring giant seahorses, which is an alien race which mankind has encountered before. They find one that's dead. And when they get on to the wrecked ship, they find that whoever ran the ship had been harvesting bodily parts from these giant space seahorses to create some sort of drug. Now they explore the derelict ship, and Hamey encounters a booby trap, and she gets injected with a mysterious alien pathogen, which turns out to alter her body and change her senses so she can feel things like gravity and navigate through space just with her mind. And they're forced to run away from the wreck, which they call the chocolate brown marauder, I believe, because of its colour. And pirates come in and chase them away. So they head off to a space station, a deep space station, hoping to report what they've found. And they've discovered that the management of the space station is corrupt and probably in bed with the pirates. But while they're there, Hamey makes friends with a law enforcement official called Cherry Luck, I believe. And he's a giant alien praying mantis. But they seem to get along okay, and he promises to help them. So they head back to the core worlds of the overarching Galactic Federation in the book is called the Synarch, and the core worlds near the center of the galaxy where the Synarch is based. And they head to the core worlds, and then they discover another derelict ship using Hamey's magic powers, and they bring it out of its slumber. Hamey goes on board to investigate, and then suddenly things change a bit in the book. It goes from a space opera with all the usual tropes to more of a survival struggle type thing. Hamey has to survive on board the alien ship, and then she discovers she's not the only one on board. That one of the pirates which had been after her, called Zanya Farweather, has also crept on board the ship, and there's like Hamey, as well as learning to survive, has to try and hunt down Fairweather before Farweather hunts her down. They eventually come together. They have to help each other, but they don't trust each other, and they're always trying to get an advantage on each other. So it continues on like this, a little psychological, little thriller type for a while. So Farweather basically gets into Amy's head, psychologically trying to alter her perceptions of her past, and it turns out that Amy's past hasn't all been what she can remember, because in the Synarch universe, mind altering, mind control, they call it right minding, they alter memories, whatever, to keep people under control, keep people pacified, and Amy doesn't really have a problem with this. It seems that people in the Synarch accept this as a matter of something that has to be done to keep the peace and social order. But Farweather is a pirate, one of the free porters, and she's all against this, and they want to basically have libertarian values. And so Amy eventually uncovers the memories which have been hidden from her, and it turns out that she had a no small role in a terrorist attack years ago, and it turns out that she's been a pawn all along of the opposition to the Synarch, the pirates, the rebels, whatever, and this of course comes as quite a shock to her. Then, just as we're getting used to this type of thing, it expands back into a space opera. We have certain friends and enemies which we had met earlier in the book come back into it, and the ship that they're on eventually ends up in a mysterious location, and we, as is usual in these space opera books, we encounter a huge mysterious alien artifact which may or may not be friends to the main characters, and there's a gunning climax where everyone has to try and survive while ships from various factions converge in, trying to take control of this artifact, and so on. So it ends well for the main characters, basically. I hope I haven't spoiled too much there. I enjoyed the world building, the discussions about the Synarch and its policies. It's interesting, and the alien races, there's a number of alien races. I think they call them sister races, so humans have had to come to terms with being not the only intelligent race. They've have to coexist with a number of races in the Synarch and abide by the overarching policies, which apparently rubs some humans up the wrong way, hence the free porters and what have you. So my thoughts on it is, I enjoyed the world building, I enjoyed the widescreen space opera type thing. It was a comfortable read to start with. I enjoyed it. It was just going along in a linear fashion, and unlike other books of this type, there was, like I said, there's only one viewpoint character, which is Amy. It's like she's telling this story. Unfortunately, this becomes a little clunky towards in the second part of the book, where Amy's alone, and then when she encounters Farweather, there's a lot of pondering the nature of free will and I don't know, life and death, and this kind of slows things down a bit, and I think there's a little too much of that in the story. There's possibly another person's point of view may have helped, but I was enjoying the one point of view really as an easy way to read this type of story for a change. But there's a lot of internal monologuing, and perhaps it could have been a little pared down a bit just to ease the structure of the story, maybe. But outside of that, I did enjoy it. It's pretty much what it says on the tin. It's a space adventure, makes you think about certain things like free will and what have you, so I'm not sure if we're going to see any of these characters again. Possibly not, maybe not. I know there is another book set in the same series. Actually, I bought it at the same time, but I haven't actually looked at it or looked much at the descriptions of it. It's called Machine, set in the same universe. I don't know if any of the characters reappear. I believe it's probably a totally different story. So that is Ancestral Night by Elizabeth Beer. If you're a sci-fi fan and you like any space opera from the last 20, 30 years, this is probably going to be right up your street. Does change a little bit partway through when Amy's on her own. Gets more of a survival horror type thing going on, but ends up back in as a space opera type thing. Like I said, it's enjoyable. It's very linear. There's no flashbacks, well, there's very few flashbacks. There's a few memories when Amy uncovers hers, and all good. I enjoyed it. Not the most mind-blowing fantastic book maybe, but it's comfortable, it's enjoyable, has a few parts that will make you think. And anyway, I think I'm repeating myself, so I'll leave it there. So what am I reading at the moment? So I've been reading the shorter work of P. Geely Clark. Now that's a nom de plume of another author who happens to be a historian as well, and I've been reading his short fiction in his Ministry of Alchemy series set in a alternate 1912 Cairo, where there's things like jinn and beings that claim to be angels and other beasties. Magic has come back into the world and has made Egypt a major superpower as a result. And there's 3 or 4 pieces of short fiction in this world before his first novel set in this world, which I haven't read yet. That novel is A Master of Jinn. Tossing up whether to get a Kindle version or actually buy a physical book. So I'll let you know. I probably will do a video on all the books, shorter fiction and the novel once I've read it. I enjoyed them a lot. The shorter fiction, it's a great setting and it's a whole lot of fun. So that will be my next video probably. So we'll see you then. And it is a Sunday here. Just I thought I'd better note that down. It is the let me see, the 15th of July, and it's very cold. We're still suffering the rounds of cold weather and crappy stuff for winter. Hopefully about a month to go before spring, and let's hope that everything warms up then. Right, I'll see you later then. Have a good day.